substantially up over the last 5 or 6 years. The cost of fuel sold is about $526,000, and then we netted $271,000, almost $300,000 in fuel sales. Now, the two products that we do sell is aviation gasoline and Jet A, or jet fuel. And when I got on the commission, I think we was running about 19% Jet A, and the rest was aviation fuel. It's changed. We're about 60-40 right now, and that's a good trend because Jet A has much higher margin on sales than aviation gasoline. But we sold about 102,000 gallons worth of avgas and about 60,000 gallons worth of Jet A. If you go to page 6, I'll cover a few of the projects real briefly because I know you guys got a tight agenda tonight. I'll try to get through it pretty quickly. Last year, we put in a water main. We did not have a water main going to the airport. With all the aviation fuel and aircraft that we had there, we had no fire suppression. We didn't have any fire hydrants, and we do now. So we decided to use capital outlay for some other sewer issues that we have on the airport, but we bit the bullet and paid $250,000 to get this water main installed for the airport. We identified a gap in services for our commercial aviation customers, and we're trying to close that gap. We got $1 million in a direct appropriation from capital outlay, and we're gonna start building 4 box hangars to address some of the needs for our commercial aviation customers. Landside projects, hangars 22 and 25, they were damaged during Hurricane Ida. Actually, a cement wall from hangar 25 fell onto 22. We're getting that repaired now, but we had to ensure that we were on firm legal ground before we repaired 25 because we had a long-term lease on it, so we bought the lease out. So the airport now owns that hangar, and we have the legal rights to go in and repair it. So we're using design build associates to make the repairs, and as soon as that's complete, we'll finish hangar 22. Last year, we just completed a 16-unit T-hangar on the south ramp, and as soon as we put the last nail in it, it filled up. So we filled up every hangar that we have on the airport, and we got a waiting list, again, of about 45 people. If you look a little bit further down where it says Cirrus Service Center, one of the objectives that certainly that I had and that the commission had was to bring in aviation-specific business to the airport, and we've achieved that with these two companies. The Cirrus Service Center is Glencoe Aviation. That's owned by Todd Yerby, and Dane Bounds manages that for him. And what that is anybody that buys a Cirrus aircraft can get it serviced here locally in Ascension Parish, and that's the only service center between Houston and Mobile, Alabama. So that's a really good thing that came into this airport. And in addition to that, Glencoe is the Robinson helicopter dealer and repair station for that as well. A little further down, Cirrus Training Center, Mickey Marshall and ASI got that to come to the airport, so any customers that buy Cirrus aircraft can get the training that they need because it's pretty specific for Cirrus aircraft. And you know my background, so auxiliary power was pretty important to me. So Hurricane Ida, we already had this power in place, so we were able to sell fuel because the airport becomes a response base for South Louisiana for aviation assets. So we were able to continue to provide power for the terminal, and we were able to provide power for our fuel systems as well. Ascension Parish donated a couple of vehicles to us a couple of years ago. We still use them as crew cars. We're still using them as a utility vehicle, so we appreciate that. And in some of the airside projects, we're building a grass strip next to runway 17. This is going to give our students pilots the capability to learn how to take off and land on a soft, unimproved runway, which is pretty important. We're doing terminal apron reconstruction, which when it was originally built, they used floor light, and it's starting to get wet and starting to pump. So we got to reconstruct the north apron of the airport. And then terminal apron expansion. We're getting so much jet traffic in now that we need some more room to be able to turn the jets around. So we're doing the apron expansion as well. And then we did an RFP a few months ago for a bulk aviation fuel supplier, and Titan Aviation won that contract. Right now, this little airport, I think it's really an economic jewel for Ascension Parish and St. James parishes. We really love it, and it services the petrochemical industry. It services our businesses, and our roots are recreational aviation and general aviation. So if you guys ever want to learn to fly, we got instructors out there. We got rental aircraft, so if you want to take a tour, let us know, and we'll make sure and get you out there. So other than being subject to your questions, this kind of concludes my briefing, and I appreciate the opportunity to give you an overview.
First of all, I apologize for being late. If I could have flown here, I probably would have been late.
Trust me, I understand. I got you.
But,
There's a handy helicopter.
yes, but I'm certainly not a pilot. First of all, Chase also has a question. I'll let him go first.
Hey, Mr. Rick.
Hey,
Two questions. So I've heard rumors for years. Are y'all expecting an expansion of any type anytime soon?
we already did an expansion. When they originally built the airport, it was only 3,000 feet. They expanded it another 2,000 feet to the north, and it's already completed.
Oh, okay.
So we don't plan on getting much bigger than we are right now. Now, we plan on adding infrastructure to house more aircraft. We've got about another 17 acres that we can develop. So we want to see the area where we can support our customers, whether it's commercial or residential guys that come in. We want to be able to support them, but the runway is not going to be expanded any further than it is.
And the second one, so you said that y'all tours, like, I mean, someone could go out there and take a tour, go up for a couple hours?
It's called a discovery flight. So if you see a couple of the companies, the Sky High Aviation, the Scott Wilson's out there's a couple of companies that offer that. They've been really busy lately, some good weather, so they got students that are constantly flying. So if they got time, they'll take you up for free normally. So just call ahead and see if you can get in on a discovery flight.
Oh, definitely doing that.
That's cool.
All right?
Thank you.
Or I'll take you up. Just give me a call. I'll take you up in my plane.
Councilman Lambert.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, appreciate Rick. I really want to commend the safety that's out there. I've heard of no near misses, anything. I see on the agenda tonight, we have some new streets that we're taking in it, run right along with the airport. So, I commend the safety is the big thing out there. And, the other thing of being the command hub, I think everything from Katrina all the way through, it really has shown that this airport has really helped the whole southern region. So thank y'all for the good job y'all doing and keeping everything safe.
Will do. Between Lamar Dixon and there, they really coordinate well,
yeah.
and it becomes a whole response base for South Louisiana, so it does well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, once again, I'm sorry I was late. I see that there's a 45 aircraft wait for hangar space, and I think I saw something, kind of was catching it, that we are building more hangar space out there. Is that common, that you've got that much of a wait at other airports, or is our airport growing that well that the demand is there?
No, the demand is there, and one of the reasons the demand is there is that we're fortunately, we stuck between two metropolitan statistical areas, New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and we got the petrochemical corridor that's here that services that. So it's a very worthwhile and desirable place to want to come. Reserve doesn't have near the population we have. False River doesn't have the population that we have. So we just have a really strong waiting list for people that really want to come to Ascension Parish and store their aircraft here.
And what is the hangar space, I was trying to follow along, but to build, you don't always want to build another 45 more, because if you reach capacity and then people leave, you got a problem. But how much more are we looking at? Looks like 22, is that? Hangar 22, maybe. Where do we stand with like building more space, and do we have the space to do more?
We do. It took the commission about 2 years to mitigate about half-acre wetlands that was there. Once we got through the mitigation, we was able to build additional hangar space. So we got another 14 acres that we could expand to. The issue is that we really got to be cognizant on how we leverage bonds. We don't want to bond a lot of these hangars out. So if we can go get grants, if we can do anything to use grants to get the hangars constructed, that means as soon as it's finished, it's revenue for us. So we don't want to have to dedicate the source of revenue to a bond to do that. So it takes a little bit longer. But if I can build 2 more 16-unit T hangars, the ones that I was mentioning were the private planes, the single-engine planes for individuals that want a recreational fly. I can fill 3 of those up tomorrow. And then we have some people that have turbines, like the big King Airs, and some business jets that want to come in here. Love to have them. They burn jet fuel. We want to house them here. So we've got 4 commercial box hangars in design. We hope to bid them by the end of the year, early next year, so we'll get that out of the way. And we're looking to find funding to build at least 1 more set of T hangars that put smaller individual planes in.
Okay, well, maybe the council can work with our legislative delegation, both nationally and locally, try and get some more money, because the more the airport grows, the better for us here in Ascension.
We would appreciate that. So it's a little jewel, like I said. We love it.
Okay,
All right.
very good. Do we have any other questions? Well, first of all, thank you for coming. That's it. Very good.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to let y'all know, first of all, again, I'm sorry I'm late. One of the things I've been thinking about with transportation in the parish is we're more than just roads and things. That's why we had the airport, and I've also, I'm working on next week to have the director of ports in Louisiana come, and we don't have any ports directly in Ascension Parish, but a lot of our industry relies on the ports all throughout Louisiana, especially Port Fourchon, that area. So just give us a little bit of update on that sort of thing, how that impacts us, because, you know, everybody that works along that river, it's affected by it. So trying to broaden our scope here a little bit. So let's see, moving on. First of all, thank you, Councilman, for taking over for me. Department report, Joey Turo.
Thank you. Welcome. The DOTD projects are still ongoing. The LA 44 project, there's still utility work going before the actual construction. I think it's going to take still another couple of weeks for that. 74, they say within 2 weeks they'll be able to open that road. You know, the box culverts are being put in right now. The other ones, Gold Place Road is fixing to get finished, and we will take control of that road whenever it's done. LA 18 is close to being finished. The LA 22 and LA 73, that's the I-10 interchanges. That project is just concrete patching, but that's going to start next week. Projects upcoming with DOTD that's of significance is the LA 30 roundabout project that's due to be let in January of next year. The roundabout on Church Point and Roddy is to be let in January of this coming year. The two projects that Jeff Burris was instrumental in getting funding for, I did get documentation from DOTD for the 929 overlay project and also the Ascension Parish overlay program project, which is 8 segments of roadways to get overlaid. The other one I wanted to mention was the 431 bridge replacement. That's 2 projects that school buses could not pass for a while. DOTD did some repairs to it temporarily so that school buses could pass. Those bridges will be placed or due to be replaced in October of next year. On to our road rehab contract. Task Order 2 is complete. We did have a problem with Ruby Road, which is the one that we did in Sorrento. We patched it extensively, but there's still other patches that we missed. Our parish paving crew is going to go through and patch more of Ruby Road and get that road straight. Task Order 3, which includes about 10 or 11 different segments of roadways, including a lot of roadways in Dara. That task order is near completion. We do have striping that we did in addition to those roadways. We do have some punch list items to do, specifically with Ruffin Martinez and Brown Extension. So they're very close to finishing that set of roadways. And I did mention striping, which we did stripe Hibbert Young, Maurice Bourgeois, Enterprise at Marketplace, Rain Road, and O'Neill.
Joe, I have a question about striping.
Yeah.
One of my constituents called me about Charleston Road, but I know maybe not you and I, but somebody had talked about it a while back, that sometimes the road is too thin to do stripes on each side and something in the middle. Am I accurate in remembering that, or?
Yeah, I think Mr. Bob Turner kind of established a policy to where if it's greater than 10 feet, so if you have 11-foot lanes, we'll put edge line striping. If it's narrower than that, we just put a center line stripe.
Okay.
And I think we wanted to do some more work on Charleston, but we were told, I think there's some issues in the subdivision there, so we did do some pipe work in the ditch with plans to widen that short segment that leads into LA 73, and we're ready to do that whenever they say it's okay to do.
Okay, maybe after we can look at striping down the middle.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of concern.
Yeah.
I don't think it's wide enough to do both sides.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Right. On to the projects that are under construction. Manchac Acres Road over Muddy Creek is, believe it or not, fairly close to completion. All the contract items are in place. There's still a lot of dressing to be done, but everything is finally in place. We hope to have it open next week. There's one item that we were hoping to put some large stone, limestone on the slopes. There's broken concrete there. We were going to top it with limestone, but yet we have another supply issue. Mississippi River is very low right now. They cannot barge anything in right now. So I'm seeing, I think we can do that in-house. So we may eliminate it from the contract so that we can get the contractor, finish dressing everything out. Whenever stone is available, we may, I'm checking with finance to see if we can do that on our own. And we will not let that, I'm not going to let that slow up opening the roadway. We have the slope stabilized with broken concrete that the parish supplied to save a few dollars. And as soon as they get it all dressed and all the materials in place, so I think we're very close to getting that thing open. I guess now I'll bring up the bridges. We had several, we had that contract with two bridge consultant engineering firms, Fortin DeBlata and Huval and Associates, that assessed our bridges. I gave them a set of bridges and they assessed it. Sometimes they put load ratings in as needed for the off-system program. Within the, if you read the Morning Advocate just this morning, so I just found this out today and I got verification from somebody with DOTD that there's federal funding that's going to be eligible for our on-system bridges, which is DOTD's bridges, such as the LA 431 bridges that I mentioned, but also off-system road bridges. So with the prospect of getting funding for off-system road bridges, me with the parish, I want to ask this committee to concentrate our monies and efforts strictly to parish bridges and kind of hold off on the off-system bridges in anticipation of federal money coming for that work. We did have a Zoom meeting with District 61, DOTD 61 bridge maintenance people. They informed me of the policy. The way the money was going to be spent was never clear until today. Everybody was kind of saying the same thing, that it will be for on-system and off-system bridges. Our off-system program is strong in that we have a good, accurate assessment of what DOTD requires for off-system bridges. We do have some that need repair, but we're going to, I'm proposing to not spend any more money on the off-system bridges in anticipation of that federal money. So I'm going to start concentrating strictly on parish bridges. We do have, budgeted money for repairs and replacement of bridges. So that's what I'm proposing. But it's, if that's what the committee's okay with. Everybody knows the KC Road Bridge is complete. Seabro Road is complete, but we do have a shoulder slope issue. Just wanted to make sure y'all know that we didn't forget about that. We did meet with the contractor. We have a game plan. They're supposed to, parish forces are gonna cut the grass on those slopes tomorrow, they tell me. Then I'm gonna inform the contractor, as we agreed, to put a winter seeding on those slopes and have that hopefully take hold of those slopes to make them stable. And then in the spring, we'll add dirt to the rills and then reseed it with spring grass. So that's the game plan. The contractor agreed to do that, and I'm going to hold them to that. Germany at Airline Highway, it hasn't changed since last month or last meeting that we had. It's another supply issue. We're still waiting on traffic signal equipment. Whenever that comes in, the contractor's going to install that on Airline Highway. They'll also put the last lift of asphalt over the entire project, which is, but the traffic is enjoying the left and the right turn lanes on that intersection. Roddy Road clearing and grubbing is obviously finished. Henry Road clearing and grubbing is very, very close to finishing. In fact, the contractor just today asked for a substantial completion. We're going to inspect it one last time, and I think everything is in very good shape for that. I'm going to let Jeff discuss all of the projects that are coming up for bid. There's a ton of them. We're going to be very busy in 2023. There's going to be a lot of projects that are going to be bid, roundabouts and roadways. One thing I did want to mention, I know we have the 5 roundabouts that all could be under construction next year. Church Point and Roddy, Parker at 929. The only thing I'm going to steal Jeff's thunder on is that they did give us a date of January 11th of 2023 to let the Church Point at Roddy project, which is right at DPW. It's going to make us real popular with all the workers. It's going to be a traffic mess, but it's going to be a great project. 929 and 930 is another roundabout, Bro in Germany. And then Bro at 929, there's a strong potential that all of those roundabout projects will be under construction next year. Utility companies are making progress. Jeff and all the consultants have done a great job of getting that ready with property acquisition. I think the only one that still has one parcel left to be bought is on Bro and 929, and that's very close to getting done. Clearing's been done on all of them except Bro and 929, but that one should be done shortly as soon as we get that last parcel. So we'll get that going. One other thing that I need to mention is the Highway 930 was in horrible shape, and I really should have had it overlaid months before, but it was just such a liability for the parish. We did pave it about 2 weeks ago. What Jeff and I had talked about, we had a priority that we've been sticking with and telling the utility companies and you that the 5 roundabouts will be first, and then we're going to go do 930. Well, with 930 overlaid, we're proposing to leapfrog Roddy Road ahead of 930. Because 930, if you go drive it now, the pavement is in excellent shape. It's certainly still not a wide roadway. It's very narrow. But another thing that we're going to do, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, is to put a centerline double stripe down 930. So it'll make it a nice pavement with a stripe, double no passing through the entire roadway, which is certainly within reason. And it'll allow us to leapfrog Roddy ahead of it. The 930 people will finally have a decent pavement to drive on. And we'll still come back and do 930, but we're going to do, or proposing to do Roddy Road before it. I mentioned the Ascension Parish Overlay Program project. There's 8 road segments that are to be done, and then the 929, and then I mentioned the bridges. So with this, and I know we're pressed for time, so I think that's about it as far as my report. I did have that conversation with District 61. They are working on the only bridge that does not allow school traffic over it, which is LA 933 over Henderson Bayou, or right next to Henderson Bayou. They are proposing to put box culverts in place of that bridge on a diagonal. So that is in the works. So I think they really didn't have a good game plan for that. And it is the only bridge that we have, I'm pretty certain of that, the only bridge we have in the parish that school buses cannot drive on. So they have a game plan finally for that. And I think that's what I got. So we can, you don't have any questions? Or?
Councilwoman Cazo?
Yeah, thank you, Joey. Thank you so much for getting that attention to the slopes on Sebro. I know that those folks were very concerned, and I appreciate you and the contractor stepping up to make that right. I know it'll take a little time, a season.
Yeah,
but,
it's going to be a season, that's right.
We appreciate very much the effort. I also thank you for doing 930. I think that, that's a much-used road that has, for more than a decade or so now, needed to be paved. Explain to me why it would be appropriate, because it's been overlaid, to now jump it, leave it alone, and do something else. What's the real benefit to the parish to do that?
Well, it's, I mean, if you compare one to the other, and I know you could debate, both sides of it, 930 now is, both of them are about as narrow as the other. 930 just has a much better riding surface now. Riding has a little more volume also, so that's another reason to address it first. And I think, originally it, whenever I came on board, it was ahead of 930, but I moved it in front because it was just so god awful. I mean, it was just a absolute pitiful roadway, and like I said, I really should have overlaid it 6 months ago, because you know how the process goes of getting the project to fruition. So, I mean, the people in that area have been driving on such a poor roadway for such a long time, but it's overlaid now. It's a very nice pavement. We're going to put a centerline stripe on it, and I think it's palatable, as opposed to Roddy Roddy is now in worse shape, and it has more volume.
Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Do you have anything? Just one? Yeah, go ahead. Councilman Lambert.
Hey, thank you, Joey, for bringing up the Henderson Bayou. So we're gonna go with box covers back in.
Yeah, and that's strictly a DOTD project. It's LA 933.
I got you.
So that'll be strictly a DOTD project. But Chad Robeek with District 61 informed me that I don't know the exact timeline on that, but they do correspond with Mr. Yates with the school board.
Yes, yes. Yeah, all I would have to say, the approachment and also the guardrails, they're in pretty bad shape, so.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to let them upgrade that.
Right. Well, I'm sure the box culvert is going to be as long as it needs to be. The bridge is a defined, probably no more than a 24-foot wide opening.
Okay.
Well, the box culvert is going to be greater than that, so,
Appreciate it.
okay.
I have a quick question. Talking about the parish bridges, are those the ones I see, I don't know, it's not page, it's under section, bridges in the parish, section 2B, Dead-On Bridge, Abbey James Road Bridge, all those, are those the ones that we're talking about? Are those parish bridges?
Those are the ones that we had analyzed.
Okay.
so those are mostly, if not all, off-system
Oh, they're
bridges.
off system?
Yes. And I do have reports on all of them. There's nothing that makes it to where we need to really jump on it.
good.
You know, I did look at that also to see if it was anything that's glaring that we needed to jump on. There is there's one bridge that's a prime candidate for what we're doing on Manchac Acres, which is to tear out the bridge and replace it with box culverts. I mean, that's always a great option. It's quicker than building a bridge, and you don't have much maintenance whenever you get it done. So whenever we can do that, you know, we like to do that. So we are gonna do that on one bridge. It's the road in between 74 and 429, close to I-10. You know, corner view and 74. I can't think
Just
of
a
that.
deal.
Chester Diaz.
Yeah.
And it's the bridge that's closest to LA 74. It has a nice, it has a detour route as opposed to the other bridge. You can take Cal and Calco
Sure.
to go around. So that is one that we're planning on replacing with box culverts. The others, I'm going to wait and see what this money is all about. You know, it's a substantial amount of money, and it's allocated, it's to be dedicated for on and off system bridges. So
If you would, before you come to us with a list of bridges, get with Ron and Jeff and John and coordinate with all the drainage to see which ones we may want to move up. If there's a drainage issue also, try and coordinate all those.
oh, we do.
I know y'all do.
We and Ron, we talk back and forth on that. You know, we generally size box culverts ourselves. You know, if we have a drainage issue, it's can't think of it, but our guy will do that. He'll
We may
find-
just want to bump up some of those bridges
Sure.
up in the list. It can
Absolutely.
help drainage also. Thank you very much, Joey.
Okay.
Okay, next item, HNTB Move Ascension update, Jeff Burst.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. They tell me they think they have the screen back working, so if it comes on, I will flip to the presentation. Here we go. On screen, if it goes back out, I left a hard copy packet in front of each of your seats. So today I'll just run through, as Joey said, the construction status of what we've completed, what's ongoing, and what is yet to come. As Joey mentioned, we're going to be very busy with construction throughout 2023. We'll talk about the pre-construction efforts that are ongoing, various phases of design, right-of-way acquisition, and utility relocations. Talk about how do we fund Move Ascension, and then what are other funding sources that we've been able to get to augment the program. We'll look at an important corridor along Highway 73 and all of the improvements that we have ongoing and or planned for the corridor. And then we'll talk about next steps and ongoing activities. So you see the 15 on the left projects and or studies, signal timing that have already been completed. The two projects Joey mentioned that are currently underway is the 61 Germany intersection and the clearing and grubbing of Henry. Both should be complete here very soon. Clearing and grubbing here in the next week or two, and then within a month the intersection improvement. And then you see all of the construction yet to come. Clearing and grubbing. Joey mentioned several of the roundabouts and the overlays. These dates are no longer accurate as DOTD has shifted the letting dates when they're going to take bids. Thankfully, not too much farther down the line, but there'll be November, December, and January for those four. We talked about the 929, 930 roundabout. We're getting all of the utilities moved now. All right-of-way is acquired and design is complete. We're about to complete the design. We're at about 98% complete with the Bluff Road Highway 73 connector project, which also includes turn lanes and improvements along Bluff itself onto the new connector. And then you see the other ones Joey mentioned about the Bro in Germany, 929 in Bro, which we have one more parcel to acquire, and then we'll do the clearing, grubbing, and then schedule utilities to go move in there. And as Joey mentioned, what you've seen previously in previous months would have been the 930 safety widening. And per the parish's suggestion, we have now changed that to Roddy, given the improvements made along 930. However, I think there's conversations that still can be had about the priority, and that's possibly something for a steering committee meeting. Okay, pre-construction, you see we have a lot under design and/or design projects about to start. A lot of right-of-way has been acquired. Even as I was putting this slide together, we've already acquired several more parcels, so we're reaching 300 parcels acquired to date, which is a lot, and we have several hundred more to go for all the projects on our list. Utility relocations are ongoing. We have a couple of complete. Up next is 929, 930, Bro, Germany, 929 Bro, as Joey mentioned, and then we'll move on to Roddy, 930, and Henry. And the order there will be determined, I guess, whatever comes out of maybe the steering committee. But then you see a bunch of projects we're about to start, and I'm going to hit on some of this when I talk about the Highway 73 corridor, but a roundabout at 73, 74, some right-of-way acquisition to preserve the corridor from Cornerview to 74, roundabout at Cornerview and 73, which is actually on the left. We're about to begin topographic survey. And then you see some of the other ones, including the Super Street projects on Airline Highway. And you'll see several of the bugs there that just mean that we are sharing the pre-construction cost through an IGA with the city of Gonzales. So our normal 20% match share is 10%. Okay, well, we started the Move Ascension program by funding it at a level of $35 million with a $25 million bond sale and $10 million in the construction fund reserves. We've, over the last few years, been successful in getting numerous federal grants, and you see there a little over $36 million. Traffic impact fees have been allocated to several specific projects, $12.1 million. The council approved moving some of the $24 million received in COVID monies, $10 million of that to the Move Ascension program. We've got $2 million in DOTD safety money for two of the roundabouts, the Parker 929 and the Roddy Church Point. So we've augmented that $35 million startup by a little over $60 million from various other funding sources to grow the program and continue to augment and add projects as we move forward. And then I mentioned the Highway 73 corridor. We talked last time about the Highway 30 corridor and all of the activity going along there, particularly with DOTD. Yes, sir.
Could you explain the LA 73 to Bluff Connector and then the LA 73 road, maybe if we had it on a map or something?
The LA 73 to Bluff Connector?
Yeah, number 6 under design, excuse me.
Yes.
Oh, shit, I'm pulling
That
the
is
map.
the connector road that is south of Sebro. That was part of the Highway 73 corridor study commissioned by DOTD. That originally the plan was to go through Belle Savon. I realized that that is not a good place for a connector with all of the driveway connections. So it's just slightly north of that. It ties into 73. And it connects to Bluff Road with turn lanes on Bluff, on and off the connector. And then eventually there'll be a roundabout at that very location.
See right here.
Okay. So I'm trying to, when people in my district look at this on television, I don't think we understand. I mean, I know what you're doing. You've got a connector road between LA 73 and the Bluff. Okay. Where the roundabout is not gonna be at Bluff Road. The roundabout is gonna be at LA 73, am I right?
Correct.
Okay, so if we
And
could just make
this-
sure that's very clear, because I keep getting phone calls about, put a roundabout on Bluff Road?
No roundabouts on Bluff Road. The roundabouts are on Highway 73, and the location of the roundabout is where the Bluff
At the
connector
Bluff
ties
Road
into
connector.
73.
That would help. If you
I
don't
would
have
add the
at
word
Bluff
connector
Road
to it.
connector,
And-
That would make it make sense
We
to
will,
people
I
who are
will
looking
absolutely
at it.
do that. And I want to be
Thank you.
clear, though, the Bluff, 73 to Bluff Connector is brand-new roadway that doesn't exist
Yes.
now. It's on greenfield construction. And part of that, when the connector's done and the roundabout on 73, at that Bluff Connector tie-in on 73 is completed, then the signals at Sebro come out to drive that traffic away from the interstate further south. So Sebro would then become a right-in, right-out, and more predominantly a residential street rather than the connector as how it's acting now.
Absolutely. And the folks there are going to be very grateful for that, I can assure you.
One more question. On the Bluff Road connector, do we have a time period that we're thinking about that may get started
Next year,
next year?
we're at 98% final design. We're under right-of-way acquisitions right now.
Yes.
And so once those parcels are acquired, there's very minimal utilities, only at the tie-in points, similar to Sebro, that have to be relocated. So I estimate taking bids the latter part of spring next year.
Okay.
Wonderful. I'd love to still be here when they break ground on a brand-new road in District 8.
Yes, ma'am? Yeah, I've got it right here. I mean, unless you want to show that.
Gary asked for a map, I was just gonna show this beautiful in-roll map.
Wait. Actually, I've got a map, if you could just turn that back on.
Every time I see it, I get calls.
I'm gonna show all of it, yeah.
The Bluff connector?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
So
It's gonna be
here you can
fantastic.
see all of the improvements along 73 that we've been talking about. And you're right, I think we might need to get a little bit more descriptive with some of the names so that people don't get confused. But if you look at the map to the left of the projects, you can see that it starts at I-10 and goes all the way down. The map doesn't, but the projects go all the way down to Highway 30. But the Bluff connector that we were talking about, you can see close to the top there, right here. Whoops, right there. So it starts in 4-lane down from the interstate down to that roundabout, and that's what we're talking about, the 73 roundabout at the Bluff connector, where the Bluff connector ties in. You can see it proceeds off west through Greenfield Construction and ties into Bluff, and you see the improvements along Bluff for turn lanes onto and off of the new connector. The roundabout we talk about at 73 and 74, you can see there. With the plan is to, in the future, 4-lane from the roundabout on 73 north of it to that roundabout. We are currently beginning design on a roundabout at 73 in Cornerview, as well as enough engineering to produce right-of-way maps to preserve and acquire the right-of-way necessary for the corridor for future 4-laning from 74 down to Cornerview. And you can see all of the projects listed that we have either ongoing or upcoming along that corridor and what the future of the corridor along 73 is proposed to look like as shown on the map on the left. Also, just had a meeting with the Parish administration, and we will be putting in applications for House Bill 2 capital outlay we're doing 5 transportation applications, 2 of which are affected by this 73 corridor master improvement plan, and that's the 4-laning, actual construction 4-laning from Cornerview up to 74, actually through 74 to the roundabout at the Bluff connector, and then also a roundabout on 73 at the Highway 30 intersection.
We've been waiting a long time, Jeff.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd love to recall, if you'll find out for me, when that corridor study was done. I know it started in 2011.
I have it. I will send you that information tomorrow
I
morning.
would appreciate it. We've been waiting a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your effort in this area.
Absolutely.
Very much appreciate that you and this committee and the council over the last several years who's been trying to get to this. Thank you so much.
And the one I skipped over was the Highway 621 realignment at 73, which is north of I-10, where they're, by that Shell station, they're going to realign it to move that tie-in point, that signal further north away from the interstate ramp termini to help better flow of traffic through that corridor. With that, we're continuing with our utility meetings. We're preparing bid proposal documents and right-of-way acquisition, utility relocations, core permitting. You know, we're looking at analyzing the DOT road transfer program for preserving corridor for the 3127 project on the West Bank. We're in talks with DOT about that, and then updating program and project schedules as necessary. And that's all I had for this evening, but I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions, Dempsey? Councilman Malaso? No. Councilman Cazzo? Woman Cazzo? No?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item E, roads to be considered for acceptance into the parish maintenance system as follows. Pelican Crossing, fifth filing, Coastline Avenue, 884 feet, Marsh Lane, 863 feet, Panama Canal Drive, 1,940 feet, and Soaring Drive, 1,539 feet. We have a motion by Councilman Lambert, a second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any further discussion? None. Any objections? None. So moved. Riverton, first filing, Black River Road, 1,580 feet. Hernando de Soto Drive, 570 feet. Mercer Avenue, 310 feet. Riverton Parkway, 668 feet. White River Road, 890 feet.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Councilman Malasaw, second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any discussion? None. Any objections? None. So moved. Item F, Resolution 2022-2023, recommendation for approval of certification of compliance for off-system bridge replacement program renewal. Joey Turro.
This is just a yearly renewal for the off-system road program, just saying that we will,
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Councilman Lambert, a second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any discussion? Any objections? None. So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, and we have a second by Councilman Malasaw. So moved.